Cause you feel my mind, or you feel my mind. We could build a dream, start up something new, and the world is on your shoulders, and you feel like starting over. Just let me in your head so I can be there for you, there for you. Night is young, won't you sing for me? Won't you sing for me? Till we fall asleep.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to VC Masters. I'm Nick Palavito. I'll be your host for today's show. And today's show, we're going to try to bring in Dr. Shambu Pokherl from Kathmandu, Nepal. He has not arrived here yet, but the thing is, we're hoping that he arrives during the time of our meeting. But we do have Dr. Salman. Oh, wait a minute. There he is. Dr. Shambu Pokherl, good to see you again. Are you beaming in from Kathmandu?
Yeah, I'm back to Kathmandu.
Oh, great. Okay. Well, I want to introduce you to our panelists. We have Dr. Salman Azhar, who is the professor at Duke University here in the United States. And you've been to WADU, because I know I saw you here at WADU.
Yeah.
And Dr. Shambu Pokherl is actually the chairman of CEO Club Global. And also going to be joining us is Rick Rosner. You probably haven't heard of Rick Rosner, but Rick is actually a member of the High IQ Society, which is called the Mega Society. That's how I'm familiar with them. And to get into that society, you have to be like 1 out of a million people.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Stephen Hawking says anybody who talks about their IQ is a loser. So,
well, that's true. But I'm not going to go into the winners and losers here, Rick. I'm just saying I knew about you from the Mega Society. I mean, how can you get those questions right? So he's going to be joining us. And Dr. Shambu, since you were actually the part of the reason why the Pod TV and before this the IBM TV existed, is because I remember we tested the system with you in Kathmandu, and you came in clear. You're the first international person we had on the network, and I was going, wow, this is really great. We can actually talk to people from Kathmandu, Nepal, while we sit in other places around the world. But let you introduce yourself and tell us about the CEO Club Global. It seems to me it's making a lot of headways, so we're going to let you have the floor for a little while. Tell us about CEO Club Global and what you're doing over in Kathmandu, and frankly, around the world. It looks like you put on events from there to Australia to London to everywhere.
Okay, thank you very much, Nick. It's been long. We couldn't have a conversation. Now we resumed. That's great. Okay. First of all, let me introduce myself as a CEO of CEO Club Global. So CEO Club Global is based in Manhattan. It's a networking forum. Actually, we make different millionaires and billionaires in our system member, and then we facilitate them to do business. It's a global organization. Primarily, you can say it's a business platform. So if you're going to do any business, any venture, any expansion of your project, so you can contact us. And we are into 100 countries. And currently, we have more than 20,000 millionaires associated with this CEO Club Global, and we have 200 around billionaires. And we are targeting 100,000 millionaires within 2026, or it may go some 1 2 months later, but we definitely going to make 100,000 millionaires in our system. And side by side, we are targeting 500 billionaires to be in our system. So as a CEO Club Global CEO, I manage the CEO clubs around the world, and we facilitate different projects and business. And side by side, I'm also working as a Startup World Cup regional partner, and currently I'm as a head of the SARC region, and I am founder of Startup Hub Global, which organizes Startup World Cup for this region. Okay, side by side, I'm also associated with World Social Forum, and we have some hats. Rather than telling all the hats, I would like to enter into the subject. In which area you want me to speak, or you have any questions, please?
Well, I would love to ask you more about your startup world, and especially investing, and how do you decide whether you are going to invest time or money into a particular company?
Yeah, so we believe in ecosystem. Primarily, Startup World Cup. It's started by Pegasus Tech Venture. It's based in Silicon Valley, San Jose, and we are part of that. Actually, we are the partner to organize the Startup World Cup. We organize this Startup World Cup in 100 countries, and we select the winner of every country, and we take them to the Silicon Valley, and the grand finale winner get $1 million investment prize, and we select on a competitive basis, and we more focus into innovation. So those startups who have that ideas, they can apply in our global website or regional website, and they can take part in the competition. And if they are there is to the final of the first region, they can directly take part in the Silicon Valley. And in Silicon Valley, it again have to compete with the 100 different teams, and the final grand finale winner gets that $1 million prize. Yeah.
And so, give me an example of one of the companies that got the prize, and what profile they had, and what kind of ecosystem they had.
Oh, I have to remember. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. It's in every year we select, and if you see, last year we got one Canadian company that got Startup World Cup winner, and the day before it was a US company. This time Japanese company. So different startups who have the global scalability, and who have that a kind of adaptive market plan, and the more traction, they have better chance to win the Startup World Cup.
Do they
And
have to yeah, sorry, go ahead.
pardon?
Do they have to have a particular revenue growth, or can be pre-revenue, or
Yeah, it can be like a pre-revenue MVP, but we have a scoring system. There are 10 different topics, and sometimes what happens if you are weak in one sector, but other sector, if this sector can complement for your scoring, sometimes you may have chance to win. But not only about the traction, but if you have a huge potentiality, judges are world's top minds. Based in Silicon Valley, managing multi-billion-dollar funds, those judges can identify whether your idea even can work, or even have a good traction and good business may not work. So they will decide accordingly. But there are some parameters. According to the parameters, if you see the potentiality in terms of global escalation, and the market problem solving, so filling the gaps, and some perspective, obviously we see the startup must planning to be a unicorn. So in that case, they have chance of winning.
Lovely. So unicorn, basically, they have to have some path to unicorn, regardless of where they are right now.
Yeah,
What kind of characteristics do you look for in the leadership's team and the founders of the startup?
Yeah, if you see the founder of his startups, Dr. Anis Zumani is the chairman, and we have a team of different founder partners and co-partners, and it's a multi-billion-dollar investment fund. Initially, our you can say parent company, they have invested in SpaceX, and if you see their profile, they have invested in more than 300 world's top startups, including SpaceX, Airbnb, Shopee, Board. If you see,
Lovely.
almost world's top 300 startups are being invested. Actually, initial funding our parent company have done. So if you see the Pegasus Tech Venture, you can get all the information there as well.
Wonderful. So SoFi is actually one of the companies that fund that I invested in that company, and it has done amazingly well. And in fact, now we are investing in one of its competitors in Mexico called Quesky, which is growing very fast. In fact, it is doing better than SoFi in Mexico, because SoFi models are more tuned to the developed nations, and Quesky is more focused on developing nations. You also mentioned Airbnb, which is a very exciting story that came out of Silicon Valley. And I'm a big fan of Brian Chesky and his ability to reimagine and redo things as the company evolves. So tell me now a little bit about your background, where were you born? How did you get to where you are right now?
Okay, so I am Nepali. We generally in foreign language you call Nepalese. We call Nepali. Okay, so I'm born in Nepal, and my domicile is address is Nepal as well. I don't want to take any other citizenship and any residency. That's fine. I travel around the world. I look after 100 countries, so I travel everywhere. But the thing is, uh, uh, when I passed, school education, then I started some, crazy things like different innovation parts. I, try to interfere actually broadcasting system. I try to do, frequency modulation, transmission testing and everything. So whatever I got, I start breaking, I start screwing. Okay, so that time, okay, so. But later on I entered into media sector, and almost 18 years I continuously work in a television. There were different television, but I worked in that sector. When it was like around 12 13 years of my television career, I thought it's better to start my own television. Then I started business television, and my primary motto of establishing that business television was to work tangibly to change the national economy. So I was trying to do some specific areas to cover, but due to some geopolitics and some political issues, I thought it's better to go global. So, rather than shouting inside the country and shouting within our people, let's speak around the world and make one global image. Then I can come back and again interfere to positive interference I can do to my country and make the country a great. So I was thinking in that way, and I started jumping in a international world. So, Nick already told me I was the first, I think, the television chairman associated with the IBM TV at that time. I was board of advisor, and I had a kind of depth knowledge of television broadcasting because I had started satellite television some 10 years before, 11 years before, and so it was quite experience sharing with Nick. Kim was there. I think where is Kim these days? I don't know, but she was there. And later on, I got connected to the Startup World Cup team. So I was already associated with the Startup Hub Nepal and Startup Hub Global that was founded by me. And I was also a keynote speaker in Startup Thailand. This region's almost biggest startup event in 2018. So later on, we, vigorously, deep, went deep into the startup ecosystem, startup advocacy. And in Nepal, now we have done tangible things in startup movement side by side. In a Silicon Valley also, I mentor some startups virtually and physically. Whenever I got into Silicon Valley, I give them physically, a kind of mentorship, and when I'm far or any part of the world, I give mentorship virtually. So I am associated with all the startup ecosystem wherever I go, wherever I be. And as a SAP region head of the Startup World Cup, I support Indian startups. We are trying into other sub-region as well. That's it.
Lovely. So I want to see if others have any questions for you.
So I'm guessing that nearly 100% of the people in the companies that you're associated with are using AI as part of their business model.
Of course, yeah. Do you have any particular question?
Well, yeah, that how Nepal is sandwiched between the world's most populous countries, India to the south, China to the north, and your organization extends internationally, and we're at a time where the U.S. government is being a little bit isolationist, and that to me doesn't make sense. So do you want to talk about maybe the strength of international networks at a time when AI is reshaping everything?
Yeah, we can say in your word, and if you ask in my word, there are two simultaneous things happening simultaneously. There are two parallel things. One thing, there is a huge generation, even our age generation, who are not familiar with AI but intervened by AI. and there are few new generations are intervening via AI. So it's a kind of, if you see AI, global war is there. So in this case, if you see any company, even in recruitment, even in human resource aspect, even in HRM, CRM, whatever aspect, now the AI is intervening. But the thing is, whether we are really capable enough to adapt the AI, that's the big question. So of course we are adapting AI. Obviously this is startup World Cup, and if you see the Pakistan Tech Venture, if you see the startup of Nepal, startup of Global, we all are focusing the presence of AI in every aspect of human life. So obviously we are there.
Hey, Dr. Shambu, just really curious. And yeah, Kim is still involved with the network and everything, along with the Nick and all. And I've been doing a lot of their programming, but I help a lot with people that are in the business space. And it seems like we are even in a more global economy. I know that even in talking to the professor from Duke and everything, we've talked about this and everything. So how important do you think it is for businesses that might even be minority start oriented businesses to try to tap into this global community? Because I'm seeing entrepreneurs that might be African American or Latin American, but they are trying to reach into the African market or the Asian market or some of the other markets that are out there. And that seems to be part of what your millionaires are tapping into, is this global economy. So could you just talk about how some of the global economy is being tapped into and ways that people can tap into that global economy?
Of course, of course. If you see now, one of the new bank, the Revolut Bank CEO was asking us, like in our system, that he want to establish physical bank. Neobank itself is for a kind of non-touchable, you see, a kind of intangible, but yeah, they can give result. But if neobank wants to establish a branch, and physical bank means what? Means there are two opposite forces. One force, they say everything should be virtual, everything should be demat. And another force, they always tend to make things physical. They don't want virtual things. So the policy maker around the world, if you talk about USA, if you talk about UK, if you talk about China, India, whatever you talk, all the government people are old mindset people. Okay, so they want every technology, every AI, or any aspect, any dimension of any innovation, they want for their country, not for the global community. So the thing is, even US government don't want more people, more money should go outside US, and every country has the same problem. So obviously we are trying to intervene through AI, where a kind of Marxism aspect, egalitarian society in terms of access to internet or access to AI. But the country's policy limit and delimit those things. So it's not that much easy. As I am running a CEO club, and we are into 100 countries. Even within the countries, within the member countries, we are facing difficulties to transfer money, to transfer some ideas, technology. There are different aspects, and government has different barriers, sometimes tariff barrier or sometimes policy barrier. But government has kind of orthodox type of thought, and they think in a traditional way. Now open market society, Web3, or whatever you say, public determination is in cross. It's a kind of jeopardy situation.
So how do you join CEO Club? What are the qualifications?
Oh yeah, it's to join CEO Club Global. We have just three different qualifications, three stages. Like one is you must be at least millionaire, otherwise you cannot join. Our next one is if you are the CXO people of $70 million company or multinational company. At that time, you can join. And next, if you have a billionaire, of course you can join. And for diplomat and government official, they can join complimentary. And we access their property, a kind of valuation. And if they have multi-million dollars shown in a public figure or public limited, you can say stock exchange or anything, that we can directly approve that. Otherwise, we have chartered accountants to evaluate their wealth, and then we proceed for the membership.
Hey, just really quickly, along those same lines and everything, actually two quick questions. One is, how do you verify that the person is a millionaire? Because there are a number of people that are millionaires on paper only, meaning that they may have assets or things that are going to put them in that millionaire class, but they may not actually have the fiscal millionaire worth and everything. And a separate question, but it's still one that I'm curious about, is we've been seeing a rise in remote work. So even among the entrepreneurs that you are developing and everything, how much is that being either problematic or helpful? Because I know even some of the entrepreneurs are very dependent on remote workers, and sometimes that can be good. But as I don't know how much you're aware of what's going on in the U.S., but a lot of the U.S. companies are pushing people to come back into the offices because the offices had been sitting empty during the pandemic and everything. So I just wanted your take on both of those questions.
We are more focused into the sense of that. Okay, so actually, sometime if we evaluate his billionaire while entering into CEO club, and once he might be bankrupt, but we don't consider that as in de-affiliating or suspending membership. But our essence is those people who are millionaire, who want to expand their wealth, net worth, or network, whatever they want. It's a global facilitation, a kind of global ecosystem we are creating. So those people who don't have at least $1 million net worth and they want to join CEO club, we have sister concern of CEO club that's called Entrepreneurs Club. They can join Entrepreneurs Club. Those there is no qualification like there should be millionaire, billionaire, or this much, no caps. So they can join Entrepreneurs Club, but they should have their name in the company. It's a mandatory.
So is the main drawing point, the main reason you'd want to join CEO Club is networking and sharing knowledge with a bunch of people who are good at business?
No, we say it's out of the box, within the box. The thing is, whatever you want, you will get in the CEO Club ecosystem. So we approach government people, we approach international MNCs, we approach INGOs, we approach charity organizations, everything, whatever you want. Suppose if you are chartered accountant firm and you want to join CEO Club, what's your benefit? So you'll get lots of leads while joining CEO Club. And suppose if you are in Switzerland, I think Nick is now in Spain, so you want to go to Australia, and if you want to have a meeting with one Australian company, so they may not recognize you. At that moment, what we do, our CEO Club headquarters facilitate for your meeting as well. So it's a connecting dots. It's not that CEO Club is creating something, but CEO Club is connecting those stops, those people, those property, those assets that can create 1 into 1, and 1 plus 1 is equal to 11. So like kind of synergizing the individual synergy.
So building wealth is one of the things that I'm really interested in, and you have a bird's eye view to what's going on in the world. How are people these days accumulating wealth?
There are 2-3 different aspects. If you see the traditional or conventional aspects, it depends upon some people are playing on policy and they are accumulating assets. Some people are intervening through AI. If you see DeepSeek or some other people as well, and if you see the other companies around the world, they are accumulating wealth by the creation and by their creativity, entrepreneurial skill, like BB, Bird Eye View, and side by side. Most of the country, if you see even in USA, some top level companies, they get government soft cornering, like they get policy facilitation. And if you see the developing country like India or in Africa, so most of the influential business people, they are influencing government and making money. So it's like in a capital accumulation, if you see the British aspect, they are accumulating the world, almost you can say the banking system via their well set structure and the stock exchange policy. And if you see now the rising of China, they are accumulating this wealth through the intervention in a product price, mass production. And in latest scenario, with artificial intelligence as well.
Right. And with that, we're going to have to go. We'd like to thank Dr. Shambu Pokherl, who's the CEO of Club Global. And the thing is, I think it's a great organization, a great group that you're bringing together all over the world so that they can improve society, but also it can be very profitable for them. And we want to thank our participants in the United States and around the world. Yes, I am in Barcelona. And yes, I know how you show you have assets. What you do is make copies of your all your bank accounts and your securities thing, and you just send it to them on the internet. It's not that big of a deal. Anyway, we'll see you next time on VC Masters. Take care. Bye-bye.
I go anywhere with you, 'cause you fill my mind, or you fill my mind. We could build a dream, start up something new, and the world is on your shoulders, and you feel like